Welcome to the Mother Daughter-ish podcast. It's your mama's favorite podcast.
And the podcast your daughter always wanted.
This is Miss Dawn.
And Angelique.
From the 713. Houston, y'all. Get connected and stay connected weekly as new shows debut on Sunday, Wednesday, and please check out our Saturday Out and About showcases.
Enjoy the show. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and tell every woman on the planet that you know about our show.
Here's our show for today. This is Dawn.
And Angie.
And this month for December, we're going to be talking about what every woman should know. We are already over here on December the 11th. Can you believe that?
Yes and no.
So today's topic, continuing, of course, this entire month of December to end the year out, is what every woman should know. And one thing we're going to talk about today is how to ace an interview.
Yes.
How would you say you ace interviews? Because I haven't been interviewed on a job literally since they said Jesus was a baby. So it's been a long time, but just as a general standpoint, interview can be on a job. It could be when you meet someone, because whether you believe it or not, if you're meeting somebody and you're thinking about being friends or you're thinking about being, boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, you're still being interviewed because people still have to ask you questions to get to know you, right?
Yeah, true.
So what would you say your tip is when you're getting interviewed?
I would say have an upbeat, perky personality to you. Always maintain good eye contact and nodding your head because you're actually paying attention to what they're saying, and do research on the job for sure that you're doing an interview for. Believe it or not, there's a lot of people that don't even know what type of job they're even being interviewed for. They don't even go on the website and take time to understand like what type of company it is. And also know how to answer that question when they ask you, what would you describe as your weakness when it comes to working in that type of skill set or whatever. But I've learned how to answer that question, and it helped me ace. I mean, I really just have most good luck with interviews, but when I tell them
question. What's your answer to that question?
I tell them that sometimes I find myself too devoted in my job to where like I get assigned something and I make sure that it's perfected. Like I go through all the steps, not multiple times, but just get too deep into my work and too devoted.
So that's almost like a humble brag. Like, I'm really.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how you, because really what they want you to say is something like, I'm sometimes I'm late for work, or,
unorganized, messy.
Yeah, I'm unorganized. I get angry quick and I'll come in here and tear everybody up. That's what they really want to say. You do it the humble brag way. That's kind of cute.
Yeah, because sometimes if necessary, if I'm liking the job enough or don't want to do that much work the next day, I'm definitely going to come early or stay late or take a shorter lunch. Most people don't do that. They just want to do what they got to do for that hours and, just save it for tomorrow. But like for me, I don't like to do much work if I don't have to on Fridays and Mondays. So
you mean Sunday through Saturday?
I mean, true, but like while I'm there.
At least you've got standard answer, because most people, they don't answer it and they kind of go like, I don't know. I think that's kind of one of a thing that you don't want to say on an interview is, I don't know the answer to that, because it's like, come on, you already been on enough interviews that you could ask that question. Even if somebody's trying to date you, you can ask that question. If they're trying to date you and they say, well, what do you think your weakness is? Well, my weakness is I get angry and I like to fight. I mean, you need to tell people that. Well, I'll tell you one thing that I can definitely remember from specifically job interviews is that you want to keep the conversation going. So for example, if somebody says something to you, you should comment. If it's a yes, then you should say yes and. So for example, they say, here at our company, we definitely want people who can be here on time, get the job done, and complete the work for the day. Then your answer could be something like, yes, and that is what I prefer to do, is to make sure that I'm fulfilling whatever. Don't just say And then also you could say, or no, actually. So if somebody says, we have a lot of people that are that are always late for work, and when they get here they forget to clock in and all this stuff, and you can say, no, actually the machine wasn't working, so it's not that they forgot to clock, because you get to learn things when you're on a job. But just being able to have a comment back, because one thing I've learned about that is that sometimes people say things but they're not thinking of what could have actually caused that thing to happen. So if you give them a different perspective, then they may say, you know what, we didn't even know the clock machine thing wasn't, or whatever they call that thing they clock in on. We didn't even know that wasn't working. We just thought everybody just decided they weren't going to clock in today. And the only way we could track them is what time they logged into their phone system or what time the camera caught them coming in the door. So, and I've seen those kind of incidents happen, because I remember I worked for one company years ago, years. And their their clock thing that you clock in wasn't actually working, but somebody had unplugged it and plugged in something they wanted into it, like a radio or something. I was like, y'all is ghetto over here to do something like that. You don't take these people plug. And then so everybody was trying to clock their card in and couldn't clock it in, so they were writing it on the card, and then they could tell when they had clocked in because of what time they assigned themselves into their phone system or whatever. So that was the only thing that really could save people. And then when it finally came up about in the training a few days later, and they were saying, okay, we noticed that everybody wrote in on their clock thing on such and such day. We cannot have you writing in because, when the president of the company sees that, they're going to think that it's fraud or whatever. And so I'm like raising my hand. I'm like, well, no, actually the time machine wasn't even actually working. And they're like, so then he goes and looks at the thing, and he was like, it's been unplugged for 3 days now. Because somebody unplugged it and plugged a radio in the break room. And the person didn't even know that. So it's just like, okay, let me give you a different perspective. We didn't just write it in because we're stupid. We wrote it in because the thing wasn't punching. It wasn't letting it do it. So
yeah,
anyway, those are some good tips. I like the one you gave, Angie, about that good contact, that good eye contact, and that firm handshake. Because I'm gonna tell you something. I do not like that dead fish handshake, the one that's like a limp fish.
They're scared to shake your hand.
I actually, when I feel people hand like that, it gives me the creepy crawlies. Like it makes me feel gross, like ew. And then if they're kind of, you know how there are people who their palms are always wet. Oh,
clammy and cold, yeah.
And I can't tell you what's worse, the dry, hard one that feels like it's gonna tear my skin off, or the wet, limp fish one. I don't know which one is worse.
I think the wet, limp fish one.
You're probably thinking like that because you're just like, I don't know what that is on your hand.
Yeah, like Josh's hands are like that.
Savon too. Their hands are just always sweaty, especially if they get nervous or they're trying to do something for the first time or whatever, or just stepping out of their comfort
zone. That was like me. That was like me when I went to go get blood drawn. I had the whole, the tissue that you sit on.
Oh my God.
I was sweating so hard because, first of all, it took them 6 of them to try to find my vein. But I was sweating through my biker shorts. I had all of that tissue wet up, so sweating. I wasn't thinking about, I was just sweating so hard. Just the anticipation, like, why did it take all this many people?
Exactly. But again, your adrenaline is just like, wait a minute, there's something going on here that I don't like. So I think that's kind of one of the things. But yeah, those are some good tips. I like. So for December the 11th, again, our tip is how to ace an interview. And my comment was to go further and say yes and, or actually, and it sounds much better than yes but, because anything you say after but, it's like you canceled out what the other person's thought was. And then yours was the good eye contact, a firm handshake, and knowing how to answer that question about the weaknesses. So that's pretty good. So that's our show for today, December the 11th. And we are hoping that you're just going to stand this whole month with us and give us your comments and let us know what you think about it and share with us your experience. We're sharing all of our experiences with you. Please, please, please share your experiences with us and hit that like and put a comment.
Yes, and speaking of sharing, definitely share our page, Mother Daughter Ish, on YouTube. With anyone that you feel like can connect or be inspired or relate to any of the topics we talk about. And most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you can be right along with us as we keep posting these videos and stay consistent for sure.
Absolutely. And until tomorrow.
Bye.